say that this is a long process, and I don't want to disillusion anybody into thinking that when the RIPA law first started coming about and we first started getting an onslaught of attacks in our legislature, that we were able to quickly and easily coalesce and come together. And in fact, I'm not going to say that coalescing is a perfect union now. It's not. But I will say that initially in 2012, we were hit with the most anti-choice legislation in the country at any time during any one session. And every single one of those laws passed. And we knew very quickly that the climate had changed dramatically in Arizona. And some of that change had to do with sweeping changes in the electorate during the 2012 election cycle. And then following the 2012 election cycle, some community members who were either conservative or right-leaning or religious really wanted to figure out ways in which they could take this moment and dramatically change the politics in Arizona. So we went from being a moderate red state that most of us called us at the time to being a very hard line, very forward-thinking, hard right state that led the way for other states and other legislation. Alec came in and helped do that, so if you don't know who Alec is, somebody help me, because I always forget that. But it's the Koch brothers organization that really worked to pass a lot of legislation. And our very conservative, right-leaning legislators worked very closely with Alec to pass model legislation. And Arizona became a site to start passing those laws. So when this all transpired in 2012, and it looked really dire for people who work on the left and people who work for progressive issues, and particularly the few of us in the state who were working on reproductive health care, we were really concerned about how do we change this dynamic, and we knew it wasn't going to be easy. So we started foundationally. Instead of thinking about what we were going to do to change the legislation, to change the legislature, we really started having lunches and meeting and networking and started talking about how we were going to change our relationships with one another, because we were very siloed. And that history continues to be the case. I mean, it's not a perfect, as I said at the beginning, not a perfect union. We still have a lot of siloing going on. However, it's been 3 or 4 years of really just continuous efforts to cross-communicate, to try to understand each other's issues, and to try to really reach out outside of our own issue-oriented culture into understanding, one, how we might cross paths, how we might support each other, and how we might help each other. So when after the 2012 legislature closed, there were a lot of discussions among activists and people who work across progressive issues about how we could work together, what we could do, how we could challenge. And then the 2013 Arizona State Legislature budget battle happened. And abortion was put on the table. And we asked our allies to be really strong and conservative, that they didn't have to come out publicly, that they didn't have to jump up and down and say we're all about abortion, but that we wanted no more infringement on sex education or abortion access in Arizona for that legislative cycle. And that we were going to use that issue, and that was going to be our only issue, our wedge issue, to prevent the budget from happening. We had a minority of progressive folks in the legislature, but it was necessary for the governor to have some of those votes to pass her budget. And so it became a really strong point for legislators and community activists to come together, and for folks of all progressive organizations to come together and really take a stand. And so people did that behind the scenes. So what most folks don't know is that there were really lots and lots of private conversations that happened that were not made public. And as soon as 1062, which is our bill, was introduced, it was actually reproductive health activists who started rallying the call and really recognizing that this was a tremendous issue for the community, And how do you get